mot lin, homfunu sinjep huon mat jang, savoy mai tok jen daiva chek vai trangbong, ben krun rei ki motan sang, nho mo vang shuat hien tuafyak sa jap sham hu. Mot nhep tim kok shua chion he len kon mat kwa ko trong su im lang thieng lieng. Jok the hien theo phong, kash kin di jien an le kam hang du. The nun insidious vai catch bo phim kin di ton gao voi nang bong, jo phong fu bao kong ki. Amen vai an sang xiao thok trong chung hia, then by kwa kin thang. Have you ever wondered if death is truly the enemy, or ancient wisdom from scripture to prophecy never called death the end. They called it a return. Like a seed must die in the soil before it can sprout, your soul must shed the shell of flesh before it can remember who it truly is. Deep within, you've always known you are more than skin and bone. You are spirit wrapped in breath, echoing the eternal wandering through the temporary. And when your perception of death shifts, your entire life changes. You stop fearing time and start honoring moments. You no longer obsess with collecting more things, more status, more praise. You begin giving more love, more peace, more presence. Death doesn't ask you to stop living. It invites you to live fully. When you truly understand the purpose of death, you look at your loved ones with deeper reverence, because you know each encounter is sacred and fleeting. You work with greater intensity because time is precious. You love more deeply, not because you're afraid of loss, but because you know love is the one thing that outlives the grave. When your mind is no longer bound by fear, you stop surviving and start creating. You're not here to merely endure. You're here to remember, to awaken, to become. And if death no longer terrifies you, then life in all its beauty and pain becomes a holy ground. You will not conquer death with science, strength, or wealth. No cure, no fortress, no fortune can stand in its way. But there is one thing that allows you to walk through it unshaken faith. Not blind optimism, not superstition, but the quiet, immovable assurance that there is more beyond what your eyes can see. Faith doesn't remove the darkness, it teaches you how to walk through it with your head held high. The strongest souls are not those who never tremble. They are the ones who choose to trust, even as the world falls apart around them. They walk forward when logic screams retreat. They kneel in surrender and rise in power, because faith, even the size of a mustard seed, carries the weight of heaven. When you believe that life does not end in the grave, you begin to live with a strange kind of courage. You stop clinging. You stop pretending. You let go of bitterness because you understand how deeply you yourself have needed grace. You love with abandon because you know love is not bound to time. You live honestly because no mask can cross into eternity. Faith doesn't demand that you understand everything. It simply asks you to take the next step and trust that step is not wasted. It whispers that even in your confusion, your heartbreak, your loneliness, you are being carried. And one day when you arrive at the edge of this world and look into what comes next, you will not feel terror. You will feel recognition. You will know that you are not falling into nothingness. You are being led back to where you came from. Faith is not weakness. It is defiance in the face of the void. It is a declaration that your soul remembers what the world has tried to make. You forget that there is more. and it is waiting for you not with punishment, but with open arms. There are things only the soul can see, a soft glow in the eyes of someone preparing to leave this world, a stillness that falls like a veil when breath fades, a peace that cannot be described when you hold the hand of someone who just let go. Death doesn't destroy life. It reveals what life always was beneath the surface. It strips away the dust to unveil the divine. The vision of the living only reaches the end of the road, but the vision of the soul sees beyond. It sees that every tear has meaning, that no goodbye is wasted, that every death has the power to awaken someone still breathing. You don't need to wait until your final breath to gain this vision. You can begin to see now, to see with sacred eyes, to recognize the holy hidden in the ordinary, to feel the divine in the silence, in the pain, in the pauses of your day. When you begin to see like this, you live differently. You walk among people not as bodies, but as stories, as souls clothed in skin, all carrying a piece of the infinite. You realize that even the smallest act of kindness ripples into eternity, that your presence, your words, your attention, they matter more than you'll ever know. And when you see clearly, you don't detach from this world. You engage with it more deeply. You stop trying to escape life's imperfections and begin to love them as sacred scars. You weep with those who mourn, but not as one, without hope. You celebrate the beauty in things that don't last, because their brevity makes them shine even brighter. True vision is not about seeing more, it's about seeing what matters. It is remembering that this world is not your prison, it's your proving ground. And when you start looking through the eyes of eternity, you will never again be fooled by the illusion that death has the final word. If you live only to survive, then death is your enemy. But if you live with purpose, then death is only a milestone, never a defeat. Purpose isn't something you chase in the world. It's something planted deep within you before you ever drew your first breath. It's the whisper that rises when you feel most lost. It's the ache that surfaces when you witness suffering and think I was made to do something about this. No soul is born without reason. No life is ever random, and no death, however sudden or silent, erases the purpose that gave it meaning. The real question is not whether you have a purpose, but whether you will choose to live it fully. Will you let it burn in you even when the world tries to douse your fire? Will you rise each day not for comfort or convenience, but to fulfill what was written on your heart before the world named you? Living with purpose does not mean achieving perfection. It means living with direction. It means that even your failures serve a greater design, that even your pain can become someone else's healing, that your scars, instead of being signs of shame, become sacred proof that you didn't give up. Your purpose is not found in status or success. It is found in the way you touch the lives of others, in how you show up when it's inconvenient, in how you love when it's hard. And when you live like this, when your days are aligned with something higher, death loses its sting. Because then, when the final breath comes, you don't leave behind an empty shell. You leave behind a trail of light. Your mission isn't over when your body is. It echoes. It continues in the people you've impacted, in the love you've given, in the truth you've lived. The grave is not the end of a purposeful life. It's the moment that purpose is multiplied. Death is certain, but how you live until that moment is entirely your choice. Not in grand heroic gestures, but in the quiet, repeated decisions of every day. Discipline is not about control. It's about devotion. Every time you choose patience over pride, compassion over convenience, forgiveness over resentment, you're not just shaping your life, you're preparing your soul. People often think discipline is the enemy of freedom, but in truth, discipline is what frees you from chaos. It is the anchor of your eternity in the tides of your humanity. It is the sacred rhythm that teaches your spirit to sing even when the world goes silent. It is the invisible thread that ties your moments to meaning your breath, to purpose your life, to the life beyond. You don't become eternal by accident. You become eternal by intention. When you rise before the sun to pray, when you speak truth, when it costs you, when you give when it hurts, these are not small acts. They are declarations. Declarations that your life is not ruled by fear but by faith. That your legacy will not be built on convenience but on courage. Do not wait for the perfect moment to begin. Begin with what you have. Discipline is not about becoming someone else. It is about becoming who you already are beneath the noise and distractions. A soul forged in love, a vessel for light, a warrior for hope. And when the day comes, when your hands fall still, when your name is spoken in past tense, what will remain will not be what you owned or achieved. It will be how you lived, what you gave, who you became. Discipline is the daily preparation for eternity, not to earn heaven, but to echo it, to walk as one who remembers where they came from and where they are going. And when you live like that, death is not the end. It's simply the door you've been training to walk through all along. Death is not the end. It's the reminder, the invitation, the homecoming. It whispers what the world made you forget, that you're not just passing time. You're preparing for something eternal. You're not just flesh and breath. You are legacy. You are light. So live like you remember. Speak as though your words ripple through eternity. Love as though it's the only thing you can take with you. Forgive like you've been forgiven. And give like you know what you leave behind will outlive your name. If something in this message stirred something in you, don't let it fade. Carry it, share it, be it. And if you're ready to live for more than this moment, like, share, subscribe, not for the numbers, but because someone else needs to remember, death was never the end. It was always the doorway.